There is often a naive question that people frequently ask. Why do schools not teach us how to make money, how to be shrewd in society, or how to navigate through social loopholes? Many people criticize the education system for being outdated and detached from reality, but in truth, that perception is completely wrong. The system is not outdated at all. It is performing its core mission excellently. It is just that this mission is not what the majority of people mistakenly believe it to be. We must look directly at the naked truth. The ultimate goal of the mass education system is not to create entrepreneurs, brilliant investors, or master manipulators. Its goal is to provide a stable, disciplined, professionally skilled, and most importantly, an easily manageable workforce to serve the smooth operation of the economic machine. Imagine society as a giant factory. For this factory to function, it needs a few designers and a few button pushers, but it requires millions of machine parts, gears, and screws to stay in their proper places and rotate at the correct speed. If a gear suddenly gained its own consciousness, wanting to spin faster or swap places with the control unit, the entire assembly line would collapse. Schools are precisely where those standardized gears are cast. Once you understand this nature, everything appears extremely logical. Why must students wear uniforms? It is to erase the individual ego and build the habit of blending into the collective. Why must they sit quietly with arms folded? It is to train them in obedience to commands. Why are there bells for recess and for class? It is to shape a conditioned reflex for the industrial work schedules of the future. These are all rehearsals for a life as an exemplary salaried employee. From the perspective of a system designer, teaching the masses about calculation, underground rules, or a master mindset is a massive risk. Imagine a company hiring 100 employees. What they need are 100 people who know how to work, arrive on time, leave on time, and meet assigned quotas. They need stability. Suppose all 100 of those employees were thoroughly taught the art of salary negotiation, how to seize power, or how to bypass rules to maximize personal gain. At that point, the company would no longer be a place of production. It would turn into a chaotic marketplace or an internal battlefield. The cost of managing such a group would skyrocket. Instead of paying one manager to oversee 20 compliant employees, the owners would have to hire 20 supervisors to watch over every single person because everyone would be looking for loopholes to exploit for profit. Economic efficiency lies in the division of labor and compliance. A stable society is one where the majority accepts their position and does their assigned job well. If everyone wants to be the general, who will be the soldier? If everyone wants to be the chess player, who will be the pawn? To maintain order, knowledge regarding power and the movement of money is often kept secret or only circulated within small elite circles, while the masses are filled with pure technical knowledge. That is why the curriculum is always heavy on theory, technique, and things with clear right or wrong answers like mathematics or grammar. These subjects create a binary mindset. Do it right and get a high score, do it wrong and get a low score. This mindset is excellent for training technical staff, accountants, and engineers, who are people who need absolute precision. However, life and the marketplace do not operate on such binary terms. They operate in grey areas based on interests and timing. Those who are thoroughly educated in a school environment often experience shock when entering the real world because they bring a find the right answer mindset to a reality that has no fixed answers. They become excellent employees because they are always waiting for someone to give them a problem to solve. They fear making mistakes, they fear risk, and they fear veering off the tracks. And that is exactly what the system needs, which is safe citizens. Analyzing further into the aspect of human management costs, humans are the most unpredictable variable in every economic equation. A broken machine can be fixed, but a human who changes their temperament is very difficult to control. To minimize this risk, society needs a mechanism to screen and shape behavior from a young age. A degree, in essence, is not just a certificate of knowledge, it is a certificate of endurance and compliance. When a recruiter looks at a college degree, they see a candidate who accepted sitting still in class for 16 years, who accepted doing tedious assignments, and who accepted following strict regulations to reach a goal. It is a guarantee of a safe hire. Someone who is brilliant but drops out, or someone talented who always asks, "Why must we do it this way?" is often seen as a risk. Large corporations would rather hire someone of average ability who follows protocol than a rule-breaking genius. This is because the compliant person keeps the system running steadily, while the rule-breaking genius might create a breakthrough but could also destroy the entire functioning process. The system does not encourage street smarts or personal calculation because those things break down basic trust. Society operates on trust. We trust that the car will stop at a red light, we trust that a signed contract will be honored, and we trust that an employee will not sell out the company. If education focused on teaching calculation, meaning teaching how to optimize personal interest regardless of common rules, then social trust would collapse. When that happens, transaction costs become extremely expensive. Buying an item would require guarding against scams, and hiring an employee would require worrying about betrayal. Society would fall into a state of high alert. Resources, instead of being focused on production, would be wasted on defending against one another. Therefore, teaching ethics, honesty, and discipline in schools is actually a way to minimize transaction costs for the whole of society. The benefit of creating honest, gullible, and submissive people is far greater than creating individuals who are too sharp. It must also be recognized that hiding underground rules or the true movement of money is a self-defense mechanism of the elite class. Knowledge is power. If everyone understood the mechanics of interest rates, inflation, and financial leverage, the advantage held by those currently running the game would be leveled. Look at how history or civics is taught. Usually, only surface events, numbers, and dates are taught, while rarely is there a deep analysis of the core interests and motives behind wars or political decisions. Students are taught to remember events, not to think critically about the origins of those events. The result is the creation of people who know a lot but understand little, who memorize history but fail to draw lessons about human nature or power. These people are very easily led by the media and trends because they lack a core analytical filter regarding interests. A classic example is the mindset regarding debt. Schools and mainstream society usually teach that debt is bad, you should save your money and work hard to pay off your debt. This is the mindset of the poor and the middle class. Conversely, those who understand the rules of the game know that debt is a tool, a leverage to build wealth, as long as that debt generates cash flow. But if this knowledge were popularized and everyone borrowed to invest, the banking system would face immense risk and inflation would skyrocket. Therefore, it is best to let the majority fear debt and diligently put their money in savings. That savings will be pooled by banks and lent to the minority who know how to play the financial game. That is how cash flows from those who do not know to those who do. Do not be quick to blame this system as cruel or deceptive. It is merely optimization. A body cannot be made entirely of brains. It needs limbs, blood cells, and flesh. Society is the same. It needs a large number of direct laborers to create material wealth. If education turned everyone into philosophers or speculators, who would build houses, who would collect trash, and who would heal the sick? Social stratification begins with the ability to receive education. Families with strong backgrounds often do not leave their children's education entirely to the school. They teach their children the things schools do not, right at the dinner table and in daily conversations. They teach how to read people, how to manage money, and how to build relationships. For ordinary families, the school is the only source of education. And thus, their children become the standard products of the system, which are diligent employees. Reality shows that those who are exceptionally successful are usually people who either have a different family educational background or are those who realized the deficiencies of school education early on and supplemented the remaining skills themselves. They learn the rules of the game not to break them, but to know when to comply and when to maneuver through them. They understand that a degree is an entry ticket, but real-world combat skills are what help them reach the VIP stands. Looking at the structure of a modern business, this classification is clear. The lower-level employees and specialists are often those with excellent academic records and technical expertise. They are the perfect products of education, following protocols and fearing mistakes. But the higher one goes, to director and executive positions, the technical element fades. It is replaced by political skills, people management skills, the ability to handle pressure, and an intuition for opportunity. These are things not found in any textbook. Those at the top understand that they need good experts to solve technical problems, but they do not want those experts interfering in strategy. Let a good engineer focus on the blueprints and do not let them worry about how the company is lobbying for policy. The employees' lack of understanding regarding the big picture helps leaders steer the ship as they wish, without encountering unnecessary opposition or questioning. Furthermore, creating the illusion of stability is also a management tactic. The system plants a thought in people's heads. Study well, graduate, get a stable job, pay insurance, and retire. They tell you this is the path to happiness. This path keeps society secure, minimizing crime and instability. If everyone hungered to get rich quick, or if everyone wanted to skip steps, society would be in chaos. The contentment of the majority is the foundation for social peace. Therefore, when you realize you are just a link trained to run the machine, you should not feel betrayed or angry. Such emotions are redundant and useless. Instead, you need a cold and realistic perspective. Understand that what is taught in school is a basic survival toolkit, a trade to earn a living, and a shield to protect yourself before the law. But if you want to go further, to escape the life of a weary gear, you are forced to self-study the extracurricular lessons of life. You must teach yourself to see the interests behind social smiles. You must teach yourself how to negotiate so you are not disadvantaged. You must understand the laws of currency so that inflation does not erode your labor. And most importantly, you must learn how to work with people, not just with machines or paperwork. Do not expect anyone to hold your hand and teach you how to get rich or how to be a master. No one trains their own competition. Elite knowledge must always be seized and synthesized through experience, through failure, and through observing those in the upper classes. The education system was born to serve the masses and maintain order. It does its job well. The issue is whether each individual accepts remaining merely a standard product of the system. If you want to be different, you must accept risk, accept the loneliness of going against the current, and accept taking responsibility for your own life. Do not be a pointless rebel by defying rules or dropping out just to prove yourself. That is fatal naivety. Study what the school teaches very well to have a safe launchpad and to clearly understand the rules of the game. Then, use your sharp intellect to learn the underground rules that schools do not teach. Combine the discipline of a soldier with the mindset of a general. By day, be a diligent employee following protocol to accumulate capital and experience. By night, sharpen your mastery mindset and observe the flow of money and power. That is the wisest way to hack the system. In short, schools create links. That is the default function. To be the operator is a personal choice and effort, not the responsibility of the school. Understand this clearly to stop complaining and start acting. The game only truly begins when you leave the school gates and close the final textbook.